Welcome to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast, your guide to future tech trends and innovation in a language you understand. Now, over to your host, Neil Hughes.
Welcome back to another episode of the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Now, do you wake up each morning and reach for your smartphone just to see how many emails you can instantly delete before even starting your day? Well, you're not alone, and these are just the emails that make it into your inbox. What about all the ones that get caught in the dreaded spam folder too? Step forward a company called Return Path. Now, they claim to be the expert in email deliverability. The path to the inbox is a long and winding road, and this company caught my attention after seeing an infographic that illustrates the steps needed just to ensure that email marketing programs are successful as possible, and also the pitfalls to avoid if you don't want your emails to be sent to that infamous spam folder. But enough of my ramblings, it's time for me to beam your ears all the way to Indianapolis so we can speak with the CMO of Return Path to learn more about how mobile technology has transformed email marketing and discuss how emerging technologies and personalization is changing the world of email marketing as we know it. So a massive warm welcome to the show, Daniel. Can you tell me a little about who you are and what you do?
Well, thanks very much for having me. My name is Daniel Incandela, and I am the Chief Marketing Officer at Return Path. We're a company that basically helps email senders send the best possible emails that they can send for their subscribers. And I have had a bit of a unique path to Return Path in that I have been in the non-for-profit sector in the museum field. I've worked in auto racing, and sports and entertainment, and now I'm in B2B. So I've had a pretty varied path to where I am now. At the basis of everything that I've done in my career has been great storytelling and a focus on the digital. So it has led me well to this current role at Return Path, where we're focused on really helping our customers send out the best campaigns that they can.
For some people listening, this might be their very first introduction to Return Path and what it does. So can you expand and tell me what Return Path is, what makes it different from all the other email marketing platforms out there, and just a brief overview, really, of everything about it?
We have our own tagline that is inspired by complete authenticity, and that is, we know email. We've been in the business for 18 years now. We have extensive relationships with email service providers, mailbox providers, internet service providers. And those relationships, an emphasis on data, as well as having experts in the field, allows us to really focus on email deliverability and helping our customers drive the best results possible out of their email campaigns. Email remains a vital challenge for all companies in trying to drive that revenue through various digital channels. And email has the highest ROI of all of those digital channels. So essentially, we're here to help our customers drive the best, most meaningful, authentic, and high-performing email campaigns out there.
And you're right in what you say there. It does deliver fantastic ROI. But on the flip side of that, I also recently read a study from Return Path that showed 20% of all email diverts straight to spam. And I think we've all been there as well, because I think most of us, we wake up at 7 a.m. in the morning, reach for our phone, and the first thing we ask is, how many emails can I delete before I have my coffee and breakfast this morning? So can you tell me a little more about some of these findings and how brands can improve their chances of not only landing in the inbox, but also being read?
Yeah, this is one of those facts that each year it's still quite surprising. So each year we do a huge research report on deliverability, basically the state of deliverability in the industry. And it's true, 1 in 5 emails from brands most likely will end up in the spam folder. And if you're in retail, e-commerce, travel, finance sector, you are just throwing money away. That is a huge miss. So we have learned that if you're not following best practices, then you're facing a huge challenge in reaching the inbox. And some of the things we focus on, and this is what we tell prospects and customers, is that there are 3 main areas that you should focus on when you start sending email. That is your sending identity. Are your prospects and customers familiar with the domain or IP address you're sending from? Do you have a good sending reputation? Have you followed best practices in the past, or have you had a habit of oversending and annoying people? And then it's something we call subscriber engagement, which is, are you sending emails that are connecting with your audience? And so these are 3 things that we spend a lot of time thinking about, but in my opinion, it comes down to 2 things really. Common sense. think about who you're sending to. Are you sending something that will provide value or will enhance their day in some way? And if you're not, you really need to rethink what you're sending. And then the second thing is, everything that I've done in marketing over my career, it starts with content and messaging. Are you sending something that is authentic, is going to provide value, and is going to help people? And typically, if you're really thinking about the end user and you think about the content you're sending, then you're more likely to end up in the inbox. In addition, you're more likely to see increased engagement metrics, which is what every marketer wants. Everyone wants their open rates to open, their click-through rates to open. They want to see clicks that will drive to new revenue. And people often overlook the value of just really good content.
And I think as well, customers are incredibly tech savvy now, aren't they? And when you receive an email, which is obviously quite generic, with just your name tagged in at the top, sometimes even in a different font to the rest of the email, that doesn't go down too well either, does it? People are quite suspicious of those generic emails that come through now.
Yeah, you have to start really thinking about the end user here and the customer. First of all, we're seeing a massive shift from how email is consumed. Historically, it was on a desktop or maybe a laptop. And we know now, like you said, you wake up in the morning, you grab your phone, and you check your email. Yeah. You're doing that in bed with a cup of coffee, or you're doing that while you're on a plane, or whatever's happening. So first of all, you got to think about the mobile experience and how that is going to affect the overall experience of reading the email. So that's number one. You have to really invest in that. And then outside of that, what really is the point of sending a generic email? You're not going to see the response that you want. There's a chance that you're just going to annoy people, or you're just going to get apathy. And that is a really sad story if you're a marketer trying to drive a brand, drive revenue, and increase your metrics. You have to be smarter than that. And the whole world is pushing towards a mobile experience and more segmented experiences. And you have to really know your customer now, because they are in the driver's seat. They can make any choice they want. I start my day by looking through all the same emails you probably get from different brands. Some I open, some I delete immediately. We have to be much smarter.
I think most of our listeners would agree that mobile technology has transformed email marketing. So does Return Path have a perspective on the rise of mobile and also what that means for email?
Well, we know a couple of things from our own research. And earlier when we started talking, I mentioned at Return Path we have such an intense focus on data. Yeah. We use that data to help our customers, but in marketing, we're using it to drive industry thought leadership and our own marketing strategies. So we know that in the past 5 years, mobile email opens have doubled, and that more than half of all emails are now open on mobile devices. That is a staggering number. Yeah. So we know that's where it's headed. We have thought about our own product development to better help support that. And we know now that we are most likely going to catch people reading emails on the go in their own time, at their own convenience, based on what they're up to. It's totally changed.
And we've mentioned there how we both wake up in the morning and we decide what emails we're going to delete and which we're going to read. And I've noticed more and more brands using emojis in their email subject lines. I mean, do you have any few tips for marketers looking to include emojis in their subject lines? And do they impact read rate, or is it something that is frowned upon? Again,
we like to lead with data, so we've also done some research on the role of emojis, especially in subject lines. We already know that subject line is going to grab your attention. Yeah. You're more likely to going to open something that speaks to you as someone that has individual preferences, has your own opinions, and we need to think more like that way. So we already know that there are tools out there that will test subject lines and provide some guidance on what will most likely be engaged with and opened. But now that emojis are being supported, we know that subject lines with emojis will see a higher read rate than just a text-only subject line. So we know that from our own data. So that is something to think about. But again, you really have to think about your audience. Yeah. You know, if you're a bank where you're sending transactional emails, then your audience may not want to see a smiley face emoji or even a poop emoji. Yeah. But if you're more of a marketing company that has a fun brand, has a fun brand voice, then the sky is the limit. You can play with your customers. You can make them laugh. So it always goes back down, do you know your audience? And then you custom the content around that. In a lot of cases, emojis will help your email program, but you have to think about who you're sending to.
I was just laughing to myself there for a moment. I just imagine getting an email from my bank or building society that my mortgage interest rate was going up and a big smiley face on the subject line. It wouldn't go down too well, would it?
I'm guessing you'd pick up the phone and actually yell at someone.
So in your opinion, what is actually stopping marketers from doing email better? I mean, are there commonalities in what marketers are typically lacking in their email marketing strategy?
I have a lot of sympathy for email marketers in companies. Yeah. In my experience, I noticed that they're usually the teams that have been underinvested in, don't have enough staff, and then honestly, they're just trying to hit deadlines. So you're living day by day as an email marketer. You're rushing around to pull together the right content for an email send. You hit send, and then there's no time to really focus on, was this successful? Are the metrics looking good? Are we seeing the right results? You move on to the next one. So I have tried within the return path marketing team to really carve out enough time and attention so that we are very confident of what we're sending out, so that we know that we're sending the best email we can to our subscribers. So my advice is to every other company, unless you have a huge team where you have someone focused on analytics and design and content, if you don't, it's okay to stop, take a breath, and really think about your email marketing strategy. Because chances are, if you're just going day to day, rushing things out the door, then there's a chance you're doing more harm than good than if you just stopped, thought about the strategy, and sent out less email or thought differently about a campaign, then you're going to see your metrics rise. And again, this goes back to, are you sending emails to people that not only want them, but are you offering them content that's going to enrich their life? And if you're not, then you really need to think about things, because otherwise it is going to come off as spam. You're going to lose subscribers, your inbox placement rate will go down, and you're losing customers. And again, email is an incredible channel for driving business performance. So we should think about it a little more seriously than just, hey, we got to get this thing sent out today. If it's that much of an emergency, then maybe we should be rethinking the entire marketing strategy.
It really is. I think a lot of people underestimate the power that comes with email as well, because there's so many people doing it badly, of course. But I noticed on the website that ReturnPath works with a lot of big-name brands across a multiple variety of industries there. I mean, can you share some of your favourite examples of how brands are using ReturnPath to improve their inbox placement and also overall email deliverability?
Absolutely. So ReturnPath, we are lucky enough to work with over 3,000 global brands. These are brands that are typically very serious about email. So it's everything from retail-specific, travel-specific, e-commerce. The people that know that investing in email is the right choice. And we have a few things that I'm really proud of, and that, a big part of our business is deliverability. And that is, we work with our customers, but also all of the relationships we have within the email ecosystem on the mailbox provider side, the email service providers, internet service providers, to get brands to the point where the emails they're sending are trusted. And they're trusted by the mailboxes receiving these emails, which means instead of going to the spam folder, which we've already discussed, could be about 20% for your brand, so that you're arriving in the inbox. And that is a huge lift. And at ReturnPath, we try to do everything we can to make our customers look like heroes. And if someone comes to us with poor inbox placement and we can help them in some way so that they're arriving in the inbox, not only does it make that person look good within the company, but they're going to see instant business results. We also do a lot around optimization. So the things around subscriber engagement, what we can do to entice people to go one step further in an email or prevent them from just deleting without even opening. And that's everything from making sure that your emails are mobile optimized, which we've discussed is the way we're moving in the future, to testing subject lines, to doing A/B image testing with your emails to make sure that you're sending out the best designed email that's going to increase conversion, and so much more. And on top of that, I mentioned earlier, our tagline is "We know email." And I'm usually a little suspicious of corporate taglines, but the fact is we have over 400 employees that have been working in the email space for a number of years. And in fact, we sent out a survey. Our employees have worked over 2,000 years in the email industry. So we have people within the company on the services side or anyone that is going to interact with the prospect or customer that not only is passionate about email, but knows the strategies that are going to enable a customer to arrive in the inbox and optimize the email as high as possible to increase business performance. That's why we say we know email.
So with the rise of emerging technologies, and also there also seems to be an increasing focus on personalization at the moment, what do you expect the future holds for email marketing, and how are marketers are going to use email in the future? Do you think there's some big changes on the horizon?
There has to be.
Yeah.
We know that there's a common thing that comes up every year in our space, and that is email is dead.
Yeah.
Well, it is clearly not. We know that as a marketing channel, it has the highest ROI. We know that there are more people being born on this planet, and really to do anything with an app or other online activities, you need an email address. So email is not going away. What I think the future holds is the ability to use data to better customize the experience for the end user. We know that big companies are going to have a huge range in terms of demographics. So younger people will want different content than someone like me that's in their mid-40s and is becoming a little more set in their ways and a little grumpier. We want different content. We want different experiences. We might want a different type of voice to speak to us. We will respond differently to subject lines or design or imagery. So the future is very much data, and using data in a streamlined way in order to make better decisions as you're building out your email campaign with the ability to speak to multiple audiences in a much easier way. That is much easier said than done. Everyone is struggling with that right now because we know we have to send authentic, meaningful communication. But in my opinion, that has to be the future.
So what's next for Return Path? I mean, is there anything you can share with us about future plans or the next features that might be introduced over the next 18 months? I appreciate you probably can't share too much, but is there anything you can give us a few hints around?
I can give hints. I can give no specifics, but I know you appreciate that.
Yeah.
Deliverability is a big part of our business. It's a great way for us to make our customers look like heroes. So as the technology evolves with the way we send, the way we use our email server, the way we use our email service providers and integrate data, we are obviously looking at just the way email is sent, the way we can help customers send better email. So we are looking at different approaches to that in general, but nothing I can share specifically right now, but excited to see where that goes and hopefully make a huge announcement about that in the near future.
Excellent. And it also gives me an excuse to get you back on the show in a few months too.
I would be honored to be on the show again.
Cool. Thank you. Now, before I let you go, though, can you point the listeners in the direction of where they can obtain materials that we've spoken about today, and also how they can reach out to a member of your team if they just want more information?
The best way is to visit our website at returnpath.com. You can also look me up, Daniel Incandela. I'm on pretty much every social media thing. I'm happy to answer any questions. And then if you do go to our website, I do want to plug a brand new video game that we just launched.
Oh, cool.
Called Path to the Inbox. And basically, it's testing the skills of how to set up a successful email marketing program. But it's a video game inspired by Super Mario Brothers. It's got a good retro feel. So not only are you going to learn everything about becoming an email marketing expert, but you're going to have some fun and blow off some steam. So I want to plug that game as well.
Oh, cool. Now I'm going to check that out myself as soon as I've edited this podcast together. I'll really look checking that out. I do think that email gets a really bad rap a lot of the time. Like you say, people say email's dead when it clearly isn't. But I think that's mainly because people are doing email wrong. And it certainly seems at Return Path, you really do know email. So a big thank you for coming on and sharing your story today.
Absolutely. I love email. There are emails that I look forward to receiving every day. And those are the types of emails where the team has really thought about the content and are providing a value. And that would be my advice to anyone listening that's involved in email. Really think about the content and the story you're telling. It's such a simple thing, but it often gets overlooked with all of the technology we have at our disposal today. Content is king.
Absolutely. I don't know what it is, but when I heard that tonight's guest was based in Indianapolis, I was instantly reminded of Robert Shaw's amazing monologue in the movie Jaws, where he says, "And the thing about a shark, he's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes." Seriously though, every business from large corporations to solopreneurs use email marketing lists to connect with their audiences. But like I said at the beginning of the show, we all wake up in the morning and our first task is to delete as many irrelevant emails we can without even reading them. So there is a clear disconnect here. Now, as someone that relies on receiving and sending emails for my business, my biggest enemy is that dreaded spam box. And the fact that any message that I send could end up in a junk folder, or that any potential pitch for a future guest to this show could end up in my junk folder, is probably one of my biggest concerns. But the infographic from Return Path that illustrates the steps needed to ensure email marketing programs are successful as possible, and also those pitfalls to avoid if you don't want to be sent to the spam folder, can only be a great thing. Equally, that video that Return Path has created really helps businesses of all sizes understand how they can avoid being banished to the spam folder. So tonight's episode was incredibly valuable to me, and I hope it was to you too. But as always, let me know your thoughts. You can email me at techblogwriter@outlook.com. Feel free to tweet me also at Neil C. Hughes. But I'm afraid we're out of time, so all that's left for me to say is a big thank you for listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thanks for listening to the Tech Blog Writer Podcast. Until next time, remember, technology is best when it brings people together.